All right, ladies and gentlemen, the weekly Two Veterans, Two Brothers, Two Views, an open discussion stream is now back for another exciting adventure.
Hello.
Might be tears, there might be laughs, there might be times of deep contemplation. You never know what you're going to get.
Well, I can tell you one thing you're going to get. You're going to get a little bit of audio troubleshooting for the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Why is that?
Well, I'm extremely loud on the stream, and you are extremely quiet on the stream.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd turned it back up to full volume, so I can just reduce it down a little bit. There, we'll try that out.
You'll want to turn yourself up a little bit more, too.
I can't really go up anymore. But...
Yeah.
I can do that. That's about it. Because I can't change it to more than 100% anymore, like you used to be able to.
Interesting. You're like super quiet, though, for some reason. Like, I hear you fine on Discord, but on the stream, I'm like really loud, and you are like a whisper. Just pull it up and listen. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna have it up, but I just don't have the volume on. I mean, that's always been the problem with the OBS desktop, because it only lets you cap out at 100%. And like
you can go higher.
I can't find a way to make it go higher.
You go to audio and you add like you're adding like a filter, like a chroma key. You can add, and rather than noise cancellation, you can add gain, and you can turn yourself up even more. You can boost it.
Like literally under filters? Wait, no?
Yeah, it's either like filters or something like that, properties.
Filters. Oh, wait a minute. There's a noise suppression filter on.
Yeah, it's really good too.
No, I'm saying it's on right now. No.
Oh, yeah.
Here, we'll just add gain. Or what else is there? Yeah, we'll just add gain. Add default and see what it does. That change anything? No, it looks like it's about the same.
Well, let's hear it on the stream. No, you're still really quiet.
Let's look at that now. It looks like it's a little louder on the bars.
You should be like peaking in the yellow on the monitors. And so should I. I should be like slightly under peaking in yellows.
Test will got too much gain. Let's try 20. There we go. Now it's in the yellows. So it should sound better. Now it's in the yellows.
Okay, yeah, that's much better.
So it should sound better. All right. Well, good. Now that we got that resolved. Yeah, so welcome to the stream. Oh, yeah, shit. Get off of that. And back to you. There we go. Now they can stop watching me troubleshoot instead of watching your face.
Here I am.
Yeah.
And here are my dogs fighting in the background.
So, today's stream doesn't really have a main topic. It's more like a catch-up, wrap-up, recap on some of our previous topics and areas of topics. So, I can't remember if I was telling you or the wife. I know I told the wife, but I can't remember if I told you. I've been watching this veteran streamer TikToker. Comes up on my TikTok every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And I started just watching a bunch of his stuff like back to back to back. He's always funny because it's always like, he's always pointing out these things that are hilarious, and they're extra hilarious because I literally never even have thought about it until I see him post it. And I'm like, shit, you're right. Like, some of it's almost been like eye-opening into like,
oh man,
into like why I think the way I think and deal with certain situations certain ways, and it's like I would have never even attributed to it. And it's almost, I would almost kind of call it like because of military brainwashing. Like you just do it. It's so second nature in the military that you don't even realize that it's something that's been indoctrinated into you.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, it's funny. George Carlin was a master at that kind of stuff. Like when it came to
I don't even
just
know
like
this guy's
pointing
name.
out things. You don't know who George Carlin is?
Yeah.
He's a comedian.
George Carlin?
George Carlin. Please tell me you know who George Carlin is.
For some reason, Carlin wasn't sounding familiar. But I do know who it is. I literally have all of his shit on Plex.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, so him. He was a master at that kind of stuff, at least for comedy, just pointing out things that happen to everybody that
Yeah.
nobody talks about.
Well, his was, yeah, literally more like things that people don't talk about. This was
Yeah.
just things that, like, the back of it's like subconsciously become normal in the back of my brain that it doesn't even cross my mind that it's abnormal to anybody else until somebody points it out.
Oh, okay.
And some of
Give
it
me
was
some
just,
examples.
yeah, man, I got a few that I pulled out. Some of them are things that were just normal in the military, and you may or may not have done some of these things, but for me, it was like regular occurrences happen all the time, and it's never even crossed my mind that nothing like that happens outside the military until I was watching these streams, and I'm like, huh, you're absolutely right.
I have a story about that I think is pretty funny.
What do you want to say your story first, or do you want to
Yeah.
hear some
So,
examples?
I'll hear some examples first, then I'll share my story.
Okay. As I put a chip in my mouth because I thought you were going to talk.
Okay, I mean, I'll tell my story. So, I had a friend who we were stationed in Florida together. She had made rank while she was there, so she picked up E4. Um, and so, because she was an E4, she was allowed to move into the on-base housing rather than like
The bear.
the barracks. Um, and so she did. And she like came to work one day, or came in one day like super frazzled. And I was like, "Hey, are you good? You look out of it today." She's like, "I'm just stressed out. I had a horrible morning. I woke up a little late. I didn't get my hair done right the way I wanted it to, and I didn't take my trash out." And I was like, "You didn't take your trash out, and that's got you stressed out." I was like, "You realize you don't live in the barracks anymore. They're not going to come and inspect your house to make sure you took the trash out every day." She's like, "Yeah, I know. It's just habit. I can't help it."
There's definitely a lot of weird habits.
Yeah.
Some of them I still think about to this day. Like I'll start doing it. Like one of them is like not knowing what to do with my hands. Because
Oh
normally
yeah.
you're either like when it comes to like talking to an official or something, or your boss or whatever. Like I almost instinctively would rather stand at parade rest
Yeah.
than have a normal conversation.
Yeah.
Because then I feel like a fidgety kid where I'm just like, yeah, let me just hold my hair. Even when like doing the stream, I'll like have my hand like on my chest or something to like control my hand. Like, you
Like
just stay here.
the classic Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. Okay.
Um, but a lot of these, they're just things that were common things for me in the army. And most of this guy's stuff is army stuff. So I don't know how much of it will apply to the Navy. And I'd be curious to figure out how many of these things y'all did. One, and I've titled these first ones as things in the military that would be crazy if they happened in the real world.
Okay.
And those are the ones that have really been making me laugh lately because it's like, yeah, they were totally normal in the military, but if it happened at my current job,
Freak the hell out.
people would lose their minds.
Full on anarchy.
Or not even just at the job, but just but it is kind of what it is. You know, it was your boss, the
Yeah.
army, telling you you have to do this or you can't do that. And it controls your whole life, not just while you're at your job.
Yeah.
So, like, one of them was before every, well, one that I thought was also kind of funny was in the army. Every month, there was 1, 3, or 4 day weekend off. So, for those of y'all that don't know, the army works Monday through Friday for the most part, unless you're in the field training or something, or deployed or whatever. So, you work Monday through Friday, have every weekend off. Kind of the benefit of the military. It's a Monday through Friday job.
I mean, for some people,
Well,
other people, it's a 5-day
different
work week.
Well, yeah. I mean, some depending on your job, you know, there's other circumstances.
Every post is manned and every department is manned 24/7. It's just everybody has a 5-day work week.
Not necessarily, but you know, the mechanic shop isn't necessarily open 24/7.
Well, I guess that's a glaring difference between the Army and the Navy then, because at least when I was working in Florida and even working in the squadron in Washington, like the squadron, there was always somebody there doing work 24/7.
But weren't y'all also doing like night ops and stuff?
Sometimes we would do night ops, yeah. Sometimes. And there had to be people there to make sure that if they decided to do night ops, there's people there to take care of it. So there's always somebody in, at least one person in every department in every building at all times.
Every motor pool I've been to was standard Monday through Friday, practically 9 to 5. As far as the work was 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you're on call basically 24/7. You know, if somebody in your company is out doing night ops and their fucking car breaks down, then you're going to get called, woken out of bed, go to the fucking shop, get your tools, get a fucking Humvee, drive out there. But like, as far as the standard work was just Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, had every weekend off. And every month there was at least 1, 3, or 4 day weekend. And it was just, I don't even remember what they called them, like training holidays or something. I don't even know what the fuck they were called. It wasn't like holidays. It was just like, you can see them on the calendar that it'd be like, you know, this Thursday and Friday we're off. Or the 4 days were typically around a holiday. Like if Christmas was on that weekend, we'd have Monday and Friday off. But there was always some kind of 3 or 4 day weekend. Now, the funny part that was normal in the military was before every one of these, your direct supervisor would have to do an inspection on your vehicle.
Okay.
They'd go out there, make sure your fucking tires aren't bald, they're aired up, all your fucking lights work.
Like your personal vehicle?
Yeah, your personal vehicle.
That's fucking weird. We never had to
make sure
that.
Everything is, you know, basically make sure it would pass like a state inspection. And then in Germany, the added tidbit was every car in Germany has to have an like emergency roadside kit. It's like a little like warning triangle and shit.
Yeah, sure.
So like you had to have that. They would check like your spare tire, make sure you had a jack, like all the standard shit to like make sure your car's not going to get fucked up over the weekend. And there was a whole like checklist for it. A little printout form that you and your supervisor signed and turned into the main platoon sergeant or whatever. And like, that was every 3 to 4 day weekend or long break or time off period. Had to have a vehicle inspection. And that was just normal.
That's completely weird. We never had anything like that.
We'll see.
The most we ever had to do was get like a sticker from like the base security on our windshield every year, just to so they know that vehicle belonged on base. Like,
I mean, I had to do that too,
but that only happened for one base that I was on for like 6 months, and then they stopped doing it. Like, so it's like,
well, some of them are based on state requirements, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Like Oklahoma was doing state inspections, and then they stopped.
Yeah.
But it got to me thinking, like, while I was in, that was just normal. That's just how shit worked. But like, could you imagine if your boss at McDonald's or something, like before Christmas break, was like, all right, I'm gonna need to inspect everybody's cars before I'll go home today. You would just be like, what? No. Well, you have to. I'm your boss. Like,
I mean, my question is like, okay, I don't pass inspection. What then? What, you
oh,
say I can't take fucking break?
no. You're not allowed to drive your vehicle off base.
Okay, so my vehicle just has to stay in the McDonald's parking lot.
Yeah. Well, it's off base, so but in this case, you wouldn't be able to leave town.
How are you going to enforce that?
Well, because if you got caught, that was your ass.
Well,
And then you get written up, or was it a counseling statement? You get written up.
yeah.
It's just, again, one of those things where it's like perfectly normal for me, not normal for you, crazy in the civilian world.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
But even for you, like, if your fucking supervisor would have told you that, you would just be like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
And just go out there, because we're just indoctrinated to do what we're told.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the same here. It's like, you can look at my car, it's ready to go. I got everything I need.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me to get everything I need ready. It's already ready. Like, it's just, how I do things.
But imagine, it's like, say, 4th of July weekend, and you're going to, like, go to Dallas. For the weekend, you already got trip planned, tickets to the fucking aquarium and shit. And your boss is like, sorry, you got a bald tire. You're not going anywhere this weekend unless you get that tire fixed.
I tell them to fuck off and try and enforce it. Not even gonna know.
Well, the thing was just you couldn't take that vehicle.
Yeah.
So, which was kind of the funny thing about it is, if you had 2 vehicles, you're only getting your primary vehicle inspected. You could still just take the other car.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, one of those weird things. It cracked me up because I hadn't even thought about it in 15 years or whatever since I've been out. Never even crossed my mind. And then I'm like, damn, you're right. That happened like 12 times a year. For years. Never even thought about it.
I do know something similar. I don't know if the Army had to do it, but we had to do every couple of months. We had to do a sea bag inspection. So we would
I don't
have
even know what a sea bag is, but
well, okay, a sea bag it's the big, like OD green, canvas fucking
duffel bag?
duffel bag. Yeah, we call those a sea bag.
Well, I don't understand why you would have your duffel bag inspected.
Well, I'll show you. I'm gonna find a picture. Just look up a Navy sea bag and just look at the picture. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's like this big ass military issue duffel bag, like Cordura.
Yeah,
and
it's
nylon.
just a duffel bag. But why would you have that bag inspected?
I'm getting to that point.
Every branch is the same bag, by the way. It's just called a duffel bag.
Okay, well, we call it a sea bag. Okay. But the sea bag inspection, what it consisted of is you had to have your sea bag, right? You also had to pack it with 4 days worth of uniforms. That's 2 whites, 2 blues, 4 peanut butters, and 4 BDUs. Socks, underwear, applicable covers, all of the accessories, and you had to pack all of that into this sea bag, and you would present the sea bag packed up, and they would inspect it. They would make sure that everything's folded properly. They would make sure that you have everything there. And the purpose of that inspection was, it's like, look, we need to know that if we call you tomorrow to pack your fucking sea bag and go somewhere, you're going to have everything you need to do it.
So we had things like that. It wasn't every couple of months, but it was more like your accountable item inspection. So we didn't have to bring fucking X amount of uniforms, but what we had to do is every quarter or so, we had to do just an accountable item inspection. So they tell you tomorrow, bring all your gear, everything you fucking own that was assigned or that you signed for.
Right.
So all your battle gear and your vest and helmet and depending on where you were, your gas mask and shit. And
yeah.
so we had things like that. where I had to have like my entire accountable item fucking list and haul that shit to fucking, well, because in our case it was at the motor pool. So we had to haul it all to the motor pool and spread it all out. And that's about as close to that, but it was never like a goddamn go bag. I didn't have to have all my
Yeah.
fucking socks and underwear and shit. Like,
Yeah, they required it all. You had to have a full day's or 4 days worth of uniforms,
I mean,
undershirts, underwear, socks, toiletries, basic toiletries, and it had to be folded properly and packed into the sea bag properly, like the way they taught you in boot camp. Like it was pretty crazy. It's like, dude, seriously?
no, what's funny about that is that I was thinking about this week about a lot of those things as what makes a disciplined soldier so disciplined.
Yeah.
Is you have all of these little things that you just do. You don't question it, you just do it, and you do it right, and they make sure you do it right, and you're fucking disciplined if you don't do it right. Like,
Yeah.
down to the littlest thing, like 3 pairs of socks? What the fuck does this paper say, Lovato? 4 pairs of socks.
Yeah.
Get down and do me 50 fucking push-ups since you can't bring a 4th pair of socks.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. It's like,
and like, so many of those things happen where you witness your buddy getting fucked up, that whenever it comes time to do it for real, in a situation where it matters, it's in your head. Don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up. Like, that's really what all these little bullshit things are for. It's to keep you indoctrinated to do your job the way you're told.
yep.
And it works. I mean, to the point, like I said, so many of these things, like, I don't even remember it happening until somebody points it out, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Don't even think about it, yeah. And it's like, imagine if that were to happen in real life. Like, all right, well, we want to make sure that you can make it to work in case something happens. We're coming over to your house. We want you to have all your laundry folded in your dresser. We're going to take a look. If you don't have a week's worth of uniforms, well, we're going to figure that
out. Some of the more common ones, which I'm pretty sure is every branch, is no hands in your pockets.
Yeah, I was a big breaker of that.
No, everybody was. It's more like, I'm going to keep my hands in my pocket until somebody's around me. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah.
My thing is, and a rule that, like, always frustrated me, but it's never stuck on me, was we would have our BDUs, and these are cargo pants. They've got pockets literally everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But our regulations say you can't use any of them. And it's like,
or if you can, it's got to be small enough that you can't notice it.
Yeah, it's like, no, fuck you. I'm putting my Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich in my cargo pocket, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it.
It's because those are meant for use in the field, not on base.
God damn it. Listen, okay? If I'm out in the desert somewhere and I'm fucking starving, I'm going to be real thankful that I put that Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich in my pocket, okay?
Not by the time you got to the desert,
I thought it was ridiculous. Like, I've got all these pockets, but heaven forbid you use it.
But that's all a part of the universal maintaining professionalism and uniformity.
Yeah, we all want to.
If one dude has a bulging pocket and the other one doesn't, well, you're fucked up.
Yeah. Heaven forbid it's fucking tools or like an oil filter that I was using for my fucking job. It's like, oh shit, well, I guess I'll just, waste time walking to my fucking tool bench every time I need the tool that I'm looking for instead of just throwing it in my pocket. Like,
well, I mean, that was different. In the motor pool, I could do whatever the fuck I want.
I'd be on the flight line doing preventative maintenance on an aircraft and have a wrench in my pocket and get yelled at for it.
Oh, that never happened.
It's like, Army. Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Fuck no. In the Army, shit. Once I was in my motor pool, there was no hat, no BDU top, fucking grease all over me, tools in my pocket, parts in my pocket, fuck. Everything.
If you were in the workshop, that was fine. But if you were outside of the workshop, you had to be suited and booted.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how far away. I mean, again, I'm talking about a military wheeled vehicle motor pool. It's a fenced-in yard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically, like, like walking a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I can
No,
do whatever I want in that parking lot.
we're on an airline airstrip. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Working on
I
aircraft.
feel like if you were right outside the bay, would you get in trouble? Or are you talking about like walking to the next building like that?
Yeah, walk into the next building like that.
Well, that's a
If
little
you were like
different.
in the bay, you're probably fine. If a the fucking a higher up walks through like a officer or something, you might want to make yourself scarce. But other than that, most people aren't gonna fuck with you. But
It's definitely different than the Army motor pool. I could be doing whatever I want. Shirt untucked, things hanging out of my pocket, no hat on. No, no fucks given. But it was because, like, this is our world. If you don't like it, leave.
yeah,
But it's kind of the same thing like in a civilian fucking shop. You're not going to walk in there and start saying, why is your mechanic so dirty? Where's his gloves at? Like,
dude,
shit.
it's funny you say that because when I was going to school for the mechanic when I was going to my technical school for mechanics, I found out that Mercedes, specifically Sewell, there's this brand called
Oh,
Sewell that
like
builds
the
a lot of
SOUL?
Mercedes. Yeah, no, Sewell, like Sewell
The
Mercedes.
fuck is that?
It's like a large company that sells Mercedes.
Hmm.
It's like they have their own brand. I don't know how it works, but it's like a brand of dealerships. There's the Sewell company owns a bunch of different Mercedes dealerships, and so they operate with specific rules for all these dealerships. But this dealership in my area, specifically this Sewell dealership, they required their technicians to wear white, and they required their technicians to keep them white.
Yeah, fuck all that.
And it's like, so they wear white button-up shirts, like fucking like dress shirts, and black pants. And it's like they're expected to wear white and be presentable to a customer in white, which means they have to be clean at all times. And it's like, dude, fuck that. Like, fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I get the gimmick to it. Like, trying to give the impression like we're going to take better care of your vehicle because we take such better care of ourselves kind of mentality. And, like, I get it. It was kind of the same thing in the Army. Like, yeah, just because you're a mechanic doesn't mean you can be all black. I think you muted yourself or something.
I did. I was talking to the wife.
Oh. I saw your mouth moving. I was like,
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I get it to an extent. You don't want to look super filthy,
Yeah.
but being in a white uniform is absurd, especially in that line of work. I mean,
Yeah.
even in the military, when they changed the tan boots, that was a goddamn nightmare.
Oh my god.
Tan, raw leather, or what would you call that? Like cowhide?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've
Like-
actually got some.
Well, yeah,
That
I
shit
have them
right
too,
here.
but I'm saying, like, it's not even a smooth, like, leather you can just wipe
Yeah,
off.
it's like suede.
Yeah,
It's like
it
suede.
soaks in. And like y'all motherfuckers. How you gonna give mechanics suede tan boots and be like, you better keep those clean?
Yeah, well, it's like during our our uniform inspections that we have. It's like they have us line up in our BDUs, like our normal work uniforms, and it's like, oh, your boots aren't shined. It's like, motherfucker,
Well,
like, I'm sorry, I don't sit behind a fucking desk all goddamn day. Like, Jesus, I don't have time to shine my fucking boots. I'm fixing your fucking fuck ups.
the shining was a little different though, because you could always keep a brush on hand and do a quick swipe and get away with it.
No, not ours. They wanted a defined line between the tip of the boot and the shine and the rest of it. And that's like,
But I'm saying if you properly shined your boots and you just go into like the end of day formation, you can just do a quick swipe and pass a brief
yeah.
inspection.
yeah,
Like
but
I honestly preferred the shiny method as a mechanic because I could just quickly grab a brush and be like, bam, 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 and go out. But if I spill oil on my tan boots, I pretty much have to go
Yeah.
buy a new pair of boots.
Yeah.
If I spill oil on my fucking shine boots, I'm like, ah, dang, wipe it off with the towel, grab the brush, bam, bam, bam. If anything, it helped the shine. Like,
Yeah.
shit.
Well, because it's black fucking boots is gonna make it look shiny.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep some moisture in them. You're actually maintaining them.
Yeah. I was glad when we migrated, and I think it was before your time. Well, I don't even know if the Air Force or Navy ever did it, but I was glad when they changed from having to have ironed creases on my uniform to no ironing. But changing boots was terrible. I didn't mind shining boots, but I definitely,
They required you to iron your like battle dress uniform, your BDUs.
yeah, you'd have a,
Really?
yeah, your pants and arms basically had to have a gig line. Well, not a gig
Yeah.
line, but whatever you call it, a crease line.
Yeah. No, we never had to do that. We had to do that for our peanut butters and our dress blues and whites, but not for our BDUs.
Well, it's kind of funny. Our dress uniform comes pre-set up like that. Don't even have to put it on the dress uniform.
Yeah, no. Ours do come with it, but it's not like stitched in. Like you have if you wash it, you have to,
No.
redo it.
No, our dress uniform. Well, it was only our pants, but it was stitched into the pants. The coat didn't have anything like that.
Yeah,
But no,
no,
the BDUs back in the day, like before every day, I had to wake up, like, do PT in the morning, come home, shower, bust out the ironing board, spray a little starch and iron the fucking uniform, put it on and go to work. That was
That's
every day,
yeah,
starching my uniform.
crazy.
Now,
No,
if you're willing to spend the money, back in those days, you could take it to the on-post dry cleaners, and they put on like industrial starch, and those things
Yeah.
would be stiff as a board for a week as long as you didn't do anything crazy.
yeah,
Like, so like that used to be the thing to do. You go and get that extra starch, and like as a mechanic, you get to the shop and everybody would gently take off their jacket and go hang it somewhere safely.
Yeah.
Like at most you'd have to restart your pants, but you could get away the whole week with that one jacket.
you play cards right.
Yeah. So I was very happy that I could stop ironing every day. But the boot one was a mixed blessing where it's like, yeah, I'm glad I don't have to shine my boots, but now I got to be like extra super careful as a mechanic, and you're over there like using a pressure washer to try and clean your fucking boots off so you don't have to buy a new pair.
My boots are still dirty as fuck from
Yeah.
when I had them. Yeah,
Uh,
that's funny.
so anyway, back on topic, we've only hit the first two. The other one, and again, I don't know if this is a military-wide rule, but you're not allowed to use a cell phone while walking in uniform.
Yep, that's the thing. Yep.
Which, if you were to tell anybody that now, could you even imagine? Like people walk and text, walk and play games, walk and watch TikToks.
Dude,
Like-
to this day, I still don't understand how people do it. It's like, how do you know where the fuck you're going if you're staring at your damn phone?
Well, I mean, you constantly look up and down. In the same way you answer your phone while you're driving. I mean, you're not staring at your phone. But there was just another interesting one. Like, could you imagine if your boss told you that at like your office? It's like, hey, you're like walking from like one office to the other with the phone to your ear. Hey, what are you doing? You can't walk and have a phone to your ear.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no. I mean, I guess that speaks to the point, right? Like I've been like brainwashed in such a manner that I wouldn't even do that to begin with, so that wouldn't even be an issue. But I guess that all stems from just the military beating it into you. It's like, no, you just don't do that.
Well, I mean, think about it. So you're sitting at your desk at work, and the wife calls you, and you're going to go excuse yourself to talk to her. You wouldn't hold the phone to your ear while you walk out?
Well, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that in the military. You'd have to hold the phone at your side, go to where you're going, and then when you get there, put the phone back up to your ear. Otherwise, you're wrong.
That's true. Yeah, I never really. I don't know. I guess maybe I never really ran into that situation before.
It's been plenty of time. Or imagine, like say you're going to the grocery store, you're on Bluetooth in your car, but when you park and you're going to continue that conversation as you walk in,
Yeah, you can't. You
you
just
can't
stay in
do
your
that.
car.
Well,
You
yeah,
just
you have to
stay in
stay
your
in your
car.
car or hold the phone to your side until you get inside, and then you're
And then
good to
pick
go.
a stationary spot inside and
Yeah.
continue your conversation.
I mean, typically nobody's fucking with you if you're walking around the grocery store pushing a cart, but
Yeah.
it's just little random rules like that where it's like, if you told people now you can't be moving and talking on the phone at the same time, they'd think you're crazy. Especially if it was your boss telling you that at work. Like imagine like if that email came out, like from now on, if you get a call on your personal phone, you can answer it, you can see who it is. But if you need to excuse yourself, you need to then put the phone to your side, walk to where you're going, then put the phone back to your ear and continue that conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
Otherwise, we're gonna write you up.
I can see that not causing a big stir depending on your your job, right? Like, so if you're like an Amazon warehouse worker, right? I could see that being a perfectly valid policy, right? Because you're walking through an active working warehouse, right? You need to be attentive and know what's going on around you and not distracted by your damn phone.
I mean, to me though, the audio phone to my ear isn't necessarily distracting. Now, if you're like carrying on the conversation while you're doing it, sure.
Yeah, maybe, but it's still like I said. I don't consider that to be unreasonable, depending on what your job is.
Well, yeah, but if you're talking standard job, like office worker job,
Oh well, yeah, that's completely different. That shouldn't be a requirement. That's crazy.
yeah, I can see the requirement of like, hey, don't sit there and hold the whole conversation while you're walking down the row of cubicles, because that's just
Yeah,
rude to the people around you. But to not even
yeah,
be able to hold the phone to your ear, or we're gonna write
yeah,
you up. In three
yeah.
write-ups, you're fired.
That's true. That's true.
Or, uh, I think this is later down the line, but what was it? Oh, yeah, we'll jump to this one because it kind of goes in line with it. Extra duty. I don't know if I used the same term, but it was like your punishment. You get
Okay,
tasked out with like extra duty,
sure.
which
Yeah.
was usually like before or after your standard work shift.
Hmm.
And this example in the TikTok, he's like, why is Bob out there sweeping and mopping the entire office? And it's like, well, Bob, and I used your company as an example, where it's like, well, Bob didn't get that computer built in time, so now he has to sweep and mop the entire office after hours. And it's like, look at you, again, could you imagine that? Like, hey, we caught you on your cell phone twice now, walking from your cubicle to the outside of the cubicle area, and you were holding the phone to your ear. And since this is the second time, we're now going to have you vacuum the entire office after you get off today.
Yeah.
Like, you'd look at your boss like he lost his mind.
Yeah.
But in
It's
the
like,
military, you're like,
excuse me.
dang it. All right.
Fuck. Fine. Yeah.
And it's like, that kind of shit was just regular. Like, you were punished for everything you did wrong. And the punishment,
Yeah.
it wasn't always just a write up. It could be instantaneous as do push ups, or it could be like, like that case. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
didn't, your boots were a little dirty when you walked in. You know what you're going to do now? Mop the entire building.
Yeah, or it'll be like something else, like the sea bag inspection's like, oh, you're missing a pair of socks. Great, I want you to take everything out of your sea bag, unfold it, and then we're gonna come back next week and we're gonna do another inspection on your sea bag, and we're gonna do that again the next week after that until we're confident that you can
Yeah.
include
Yeah.
a fourth pair of socks.
We're going to do it for the next 4 weeks. And every time it's fucked up, we're going to add another week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a funny story into that one as far as creative punishments. I don't really
That's a
remember
fun one.
I think I probably told you this one before, but I was like out of uniform, and your exercise uniform was your tennis shoes, white socks, and they had to not be too dingy. So like if you're sweated in your socks or got muddy or whatever too often, you couldn't wear off-white socks.
Yeah, sure.
Had to be white. And your shorts, shirt, and a reflective belt or vest, depending on where you were.
Yeah.
And like, man, if you like forgot your reflective belt, you're out of uniform. Or
Yeah.
you wore those dingy socks 2 days in a
Yeah.
row. You're
That's
out
the
of
same
uniform.
way. That's the same way in the Navy. Yep.
Well, I did that 3 times in a row or something in a week. Like if I forgot my PT belt or forgot my hat the next day or whatever. So my punishment on a Saturday, on my day off, was every hour I had to meet my supervisor at the motor pool in a different, complete uniform every hour for like 8 hours that day.
Oh,
So at like
God.
9 a.m., I had to show up in full winter PT uniform, which is the shorts with the pants on top, shirt with the coat on top, winter hat, vest, everything. And
Oh,
like the next hour
God.
will show up in like full battle uniform with like vest, helmet, everything. And then the next hour was like full dress uniform. Just every hour, a
We
different
called
uniform.
we had a term for that, and we did that often in the Navy when we failed uniform inspections. We called it a fashion show.
Yeah.
So if you failed your uniform inspection for that month or whenever they did the uniform inspection, you had to do a fashion show, which means you had to come in for the rest of that day in every uniform, and it had to be pristine.
I
And
mean,
you like would not be able to do anything else until all of your uniforms were good to go.
see, but at least that wasn't taking your Saturday.
Oh,
And it wasn't
they,
every hour.
yeah, that's true.
And the fucked up thing was my boss would just roll down the window, be like, all right, see you in an hour. Like, it wasn't even like an inspection. It was just a glance, like, yeah, you look like you're in the right uniform. Bye. Like 5 seconds. And of course, standard military, I had to be there 10 minutes prior every time. And
Yeah.
she would show up at exactly on the hour
Yep.
and just be like, all right, bye. It's like, son of a
Yep.
bitch. Go back home.
Yep.
Put that whole uniform up, get the next one prepared, sit around for like 30 minutes before I had to get back out in the car and get over there. It's like, man, tell you what though, wasn't forgetting anything for a while in my uniforms.
Yeah. That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. There's some of them where you just look back on it. It's like what was happening was like, God, it really fucking sucked. But looking back on it, it's like, yeah, effective.
Yeah. Well, like I said in the previous stream, the whole like 1,000 push-ups by the end of the day for my missing canteen. It's like, it's another one. That was early on. That was in basic training.
Yeah.
Like teaching me accountability.
Yep. They've perfected the art, man. They really have.
But it's like, man, you think of any kind of extra duty, extracurricular punishment for the office is just unheard of.
Oh yeah.
With the exception, in like fast food, you're like, yeah, congratulations, you get to exchange the grease on the fryer today or something.
Yeah.
You'll get the shitty job for the day, but nothing made up.
Yeah.
Or you get to clean bathrooms all week, like whatever. When you're in a job that does everything. But
Yeah.
but if you're like us, you work at a computer building place, I work at a tech support place. Like there's not really any creative work they're gonna make you or me do. And if they did, we'd just look at them funny, like, "Are you serious right now?" Because that's not happening.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I mean, I think at least I learned very quickly that the best way to avoid stupid menial tasks is to just walk around with a broom. When somebody walks by you, act like you're sweeping something. Perception is reality. If you look busy, especially when it's cleaning, then you are busy.
so just walking around with a notebook and a pen in your hand.
No, I always, dude. I swear, I shit you not. I would walk around with a broom in my hand.
Well, you're not talking about your computer shop, are you?
Oh no. I'm
saying in the office
I'd
environment that doesn't really work.
I'd walk around with this notebook right here, with all my scribblings on it, and this pen. And I'd walk with a purpose to wherever I'd go. I'd act like I'm on urgent business back to the warehouse. And as soon as I get back in there, I pull up a chair next to the warehouse guys. I was like, "Hey guys, how y'all doing today?" Just try to, step away from my desk. What y'all been up to? Y'all doing good? Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for chatting for about 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna go back to work now, and I'll grab my notebook, write some stuff down, and then. Oh, by the way, I had a question for you. Okay. Cool. Great. All right. Go back to work.
Got to justify the work trip.
Right, exactly. It's like, well, why were you back in inventory for 10 minutes? It's like, oh, well, I had this order here. I was asking some questions about it. I wanted to figure out an update for this customer. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Going back to the weekend getaways, along with vehicle inspections, and you may have had this one. You ever have like the funny safety briefings, like company-wide safety briefings?
My God, yes, where every single upper enlisted was like, if you ever need to go anywhere, I'd rather you call me and have me come pick you up than for you to get thrown in jail. Oh my God, dude, you hear it 100 times.
Oh, I thought more like the funny ones, like if you get in jail, establish dominance.
Oh my, yeah,
like, where it's like, don't get anybody pregnant, don't kill anybody, don't go to jail, but if you do go to jail, establish dominance quickly. But it was always, sometimes you get the long brief, like after like last weekend, we're officially no longer allowed in this club. So those of y'all that know who you are.
Yeah.
Because of which, now we have an hour-long safety brief.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's like just to silently embarrass and talk about the people that fucked up right in front of them. Yeah.
Without naming any names.
Else who has absolutely no idea what's going on.
Yeah. But again, if you imagine that at your office, like 5 p.m. on a Friday, they're like, all right, before everybody goes, anybody to form up by the door, and we're going to talk about what you are and not allowed to do this weekend.
Oh, that's happened a couple of times at the office. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Oh, we did.
I mean, you can't tell them to not go to this particular bar or anything like that.
It wasn't about like a particular place. It was something that had happened at work that we had to like provide like a briefing on to make sure that it didn't happen anymore. It's like this had nothing to do with any of us, and you're providing this whole briefing to the entire company. Okay,
yeah, but
yeah.
Cover your ass,
Yeah, sure. Understandable. I get it. Like I said, I totally get it. I'm down for it. It is what it is. I'm used to it at this point. So yeah go for it.
And again,
you're not going to bother me with that kind of shit.
It's the same thing for me. Like for me, you'd be like, hey, we need everybody in the company to stay 10 minutes extra Friday to have a meeting. And I'd just be like, oh, all right, fuck me.
Yeah. Well,
other people will be like, the hell you mean you're going to tell me what I can't do this weekend? Like, I'm going home. You're not paying me for those 10 minutes. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one that sometimes we might not want to admit that we've been a part of, but have you ever tactically acquired anything?
Oh, yeah. Tons of times.
It's another one that, like, again, and this one's more common as a mechanic, because it even happens in the civilian world as a mechanic, but tactical acquisition of anything is like, we're going to have to write you up unless this item magically appears tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're like, and your boss will even tell you, like, I don't care how you get it. I just don't want to know how you got it. Like, but if it's here tomorrow, I'm not going to question it.
And you always know.
Yeah. Or
that's a bold-faced fucking lie, man.
And then in the mechanic field, though, emergency situations, we're like, this vehicle ain't running unless we go and, what's it called? Not vampire or salvage or cannibalize. Yeah. Go and cannibalize from another vehicle. And every motor brawl I've ever been has always been like one vehicle that ends up being like the
Just the
cannibalized
parts
vehicle.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, this one needs an engine that's not on the budget, so it's not even going to get fixed for like 6 more months. So we just
Like,
keep
well,
adding to the parts list that one needs. Like, well,
yeah.
now it needs a headlight, now it needs a mirror, now it needs a passenger seat.
Yeah. We had one aircraft that was like that. It very rarely would go on missions because very rarely did it have all the parts that it needed because we pull shit off of it to do our fucking more urgent shit.
But that one's more like the gray area of tactical acquisition. The dark area is when you're actually like breaking into other units' motor pools and taking their shit.
We never did anything like that.
Oh, we did. Well, more so certain situations. Did a few times like when we're on deployments because things are just hard to get.
Yeah.
Like you need your shit. The problem on deployments is nobody wants to give away anything.
Yeah.
Unless you just have an excessive amount of said item. Like we accidentally ordered 40 barrels of oil instead of 4.
Yeah.
Then please take this oil so I don't have to haul it to my next area.
Yeah.
But if you ordered 4 because you needed 4 and you come and ask me for 1 barrel of oil, I'm like, nope, ain't got any.
Yeah.
I could be sitting on those barrels of oil and be like, nope, can't
I'll
spare
see
any
what
oil.
talking about. Yep.
What's that right there? Oh, this is used oil. These are
Yeah.
empty. This is water.
Yeah.
Shit.
Or you can just tell them, nope, this is oil. This is what we need. It's accounted for. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. But then there's other people like they be sitting on 40 barrels of oil and still be like, nope, ain't got no oil. And you're like, there's 40 barrels. You're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Those are the people that you're like, okay, all right, you ain't got no oil. All right, cool. About 2 a.m. that night, you're about to be 2 barrels less.
Yeah. We never had to do anything
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. The closest thing I ever had to do to it was when I was in Washington. Because I was getting ready to transfer out and get out of the Navy. They put me with the logistics department to do the pack out for like all the tools and stuff for the deploying, mechanics. So I would, build these Connaxes with all the tools that they would need for, their deployment. And I came across an entire Connex filled from top to bottom with brand new tools that were complete excess. Didn't need them.
Yep.
And so I went to my, my first class, and I was like, hey, look, I've got this Connex of all these excess tools and parts. What do you want me to do with them? I don't know. Go ask Ensign. So I go ask the Ensign, the officer of the department, and I was like, hey, got this Connex full of tools. Don't need them. What do you want me to do with them? I don't know. Just take care of it. Okay, well, what does that mean? Like, just start handing it out, push it into, diversify it and put a little excess in every Connex, or take it back to the warehouse? Like, what does that mean? He's like, I don't know. Take care of it. Okay. So we had these red containers. We called them knuckle busters, but it was just like a red chest, a big metal red chest with these, flimsy fucking metal handles on each side. And anytime you tried to pick them up, it would like slam the chest into your knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
So we called them knuckle busters. So I took one of these red chests and I just filled that son of a bitch with brand new snap-on wrenches, full fucking set. I got like one of them big industrial mag light flashlights, a bunch of other fucking wire cutters and shit. Took that knuckle buster, filled it with all them fucking tools, threw it in the trunk of my car. I was like, all right, well, taken care of. Called the warehouse. It's like, hey, I got this excess. Y'all should come pick it up. It's in this Connex. Here you go. Bye. Click.
I had a similar
told
tool.
me to take care of it. I took care of it.
I had a similar tool story that I wish I would have handled differently. It was still when I was kind of new to things like that, like inventory problems.
Yeah.
And because basically, again, for those that don't know, and I assume it's the same with you, In the Army, when you're doing every year, you do a full 100% inventory, or every change of command, maybe not every year. But every time a new commander takes over your unit, they sign for everything in the company, down to
Right.
every little wrench and socket, to
Right.
every car, to every computer, everything. And so you do 100% inventory.
Yeah.
And what happens is everybody does a pre-inventory to account for their individual things. So like the motor pool inventory is all their shit in
Mhm.
preparation for the commander coming to do their inventory of it. And if you have anything, and everything's printed out. Like here's everything you should have.
Right. Here's your checklist.
And if you have things that aren't on that checklist, they then have to be added to that checklist, which is a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And then you have to like do the inventory again.
Yep. So nobody wants to add shit.
Yeah. So nobody wants extra shit. To the point that you will literally just throw extra shit away.
Yep.
And when I first got to my unit in Hawaii, they were doing that. They were doing like 100% inventory. And we just had tons of tools that weren't on the books. We don't know if they were like donated from another unit when they deployed or whatever. However, we fucking came about them. Tons and tons and tons of extra shit, like tap and die kits and shit that have never been opened. And these are like, $2,000 tap and die sets.
Yeah, expensive shit, dude. Yeah.
And
like
we were just
full Snap-on
chunking shit
sets.
in a dumpster. We literally just filled a dumpster with spare tools, parts, everything. And me,
man,
being
you
new
gotta
to the
take that
game,
home.
I was just like, can we like keep any of this stuff or anything? Like, nope. And I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. Fuck no. If you would have asked the soldier in me like a year after that, I would have been at that fucking motor pool at midnight that night just loading the car up. Like, dude, you would have had an empty dumpster the next day.
Yeah.
Like shit.
Part of my part of my responsibilities of preparing the my department for this deployment was I had to get all the uniforms ready because we were just transitioning from like the blue BDUs to the like the forest camo kind of colors, like the desert and forest camo colors.
Yeah.
The digis. And so, I had this office which was filled from floor to ceiling with boxes of tops, hats, pants, socks, boots, undershirts. And I was like, man, I'm not even going to be in the military long enough to get issued these uniforms. And so I was like, you know what? They've got me in here. I packed everybody's uniforms, got it all separated. Everybody has many sets as they, paid for, whatever the case may be. I got everything allocated and had a bunch of extras. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a top. I'm gonna take some pants. I'm gonna take a pair of boots. I'm gonna take me a hat, a couple of undershirts. All right,
Yep.
done. Take these home. I'm not. They may not have been issued to me, but god damn it, I've got some.
Well, what was crazy to learn, as I learned towards the end of my career, is that, and it's almost kind of like you don't want to admit it because then you wonder, you complain about the military budget and things like that. And it's like, well, part of it is because of how things are accounted for. It's such a huge organization.
Yeah, they just don't care about excess. Like they don't care what happens.
No. I'm talking about like why it became excess.
Oh, yeah.
It's because it's all done by a bunch of idiot privates that are supposed to input it into the system or take it out of the system. And
yeah.
when you're trusting 18-year-old privates that barely know what they're doing, or they're scared or nervous, or they know how to abuse the system and they just purposely don't do it, or like all it takes is like one typo.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have a Connex full of tools.
Yeah,
And nobody even knows about it.
Not only that, I mean, if you're friends with the fucking LSs that buy all that shit, dude, it's so easy. It's like, hey, are you putting in an order for mag lights anytime soon? It's like, yeah, I got one going in this next week. Throw an extra one on there for me, and they will.
Well, those are for the non-accountable things, like things like that. They're like, oh, here, take 2 of them.
Yeah,
because don't care. It's government money. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Now you want to take a case? No, but
no.
Um,
It's like I ended up telling my first class, but I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, I got everybody's uniform set and good to go. We had some extras. I took some home. I took a pair of boots, a couple of pairs of tops, stuff like that. They're like, oh, extras, you said? I was like,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Well, like one example of clerical errors.
Don't wear them on base. Okay.
Um, I got paid a bunch of extra money right before I got out because of clerical errors.
Yeah.
Because technically, military is a salary position. Nobody's
Yeah.
keeping track of your hours. They only keep track of your vacation time.
Yeah.
When I got back from, where was it? It was somewhere like in the middle of my Hawaii term or whatever. It was, I think it was when Crystal's parents came to visit. We took like 10 days of leave. I submitted the form. Nobody ever put it in the system. So I had 10 free days of leave that never got taken out. So then when I got out of the Army, that means I got 10 days of leave paid to me when I got out for
Oh,
my excess leave. So it's like I basically got paid twice for that leave because I took 10 days off and then got paid for those 10 days when I got out. Like, it's just, I mean, granted, not that that's breaking the military budget. That was just one case out of the, tens of thousands of soldiers out there. And that's
yeah.
just one clerical error.
Oh man, I'll tell you how I used to game the system. So when transferring in the Navy, I don't know how it worked in the Army, but when transferring duty stations in the Navy, you had two options, right? You could either, um, uh, take the money outright and pay for your own transportation and your gas and stuff to drive your car to the next duty station, or you could, you know, have them pay to ship your vehicle, and then you could fly, and you would have to, figure out the logistics for all your belongings and all the shit in your, barracks room on your own. So what I would do is I would take the money outright to have my, to drive, and the money that I would spend on gas, and I would take that money and I would load my car with all of my stuff, minus a bag, and then find a company that would ship my car, and then use the leftover money to buy a plane ticket. So I would get my car shipped with all of my stuff in my car, and then just fly to wherever I needed to go.
The difference is I was married the whole time. So
Yeah.
they pay to have somebody come up, pack your house for you, load it up, and your car and everything. Like they do everything for you.
Oh yeah, no. See, I lived on the barracks the whole time. I didn't do any
Yeah.
of that.
Now it's funny. On that topic, I actually joked a while, it was like a year ago, about how I should honestly try to join the fucking military, like the Air Force, for one like 2-year tour. Because then they would come out here, pack up our entire house, ship it all to my duty station, and then whenever we get out, they'll ship it wherever I want to go.
Yeah.
Like it's like free moving service. Like, granted, I got to do 2 years in the military to get it, but
Yeah, I know, man.
it's just like tempting. Where it's like, man, if I don't want to have to pay for packing or deal with anything, like all I got to do is just join back up.
Yeah, just join the Space Force, man.
Yeah. But where did we leave off? Oh, tactical acquisition.
Yeah, tactical acquisition.
Yeah. Tactical acquisition is a weird thing. And again, you would never hear that in the civilian world for the most part, not from another company.
Yeah,
You're not you're not gonna work at the Ford dealership and be like sneaking over to the Dodge dealership to steal parts off their car.
Yeah.
Look, no, that's not gonna happen.
Let's go to the other Ford dealership down the freeway about 20 minutes and go take a couple of, take some spark plugs and some oil filters.
Yeah.
No.
Like if your boss told you that, you'd be like, he's like, "Babe, but if you do it, don't let me know. Like, don't worry, I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. You don't have to tell me. No, I'm just saying. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it. Yeah.
In the Army, though, he'd be like, "I got you. I got you."
If somebody says that to you in the Army, that's them indirectly telling you, you better go over there and fucking get that shit.
Yeah.
Just don't tell me you did it.
Yeah. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Exactly.
If somebody said wink, wink at your civilian job, they'd be like, "Are you crazy? No."
Are you fucking? You do it, you fucking idiot! Shut up. I'm going home. This is bullshit.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. I'm gone. All right. I'm not sneaking to the other dealership at 2 a.m. by myself.
Yeah.
No.
You gonna pay my fucking bail when I get arrested and shit? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? You gonna pull me out of the fucking brig when the MP's got me tied up to a fucking bed? Like, what the hell?
But again, it's one of those things perfectly normal in the military.
Yeah.
Tactical acquisition. Everybody has been a part of it or witnessed it or heard of it or, in some form or fashion.
I mean,
But
that's
then-
kind of the weird thing about it, too. It's like, hey, we ordered 4 barrels of oil. Now we only got 3. Like, what do we do? Can you make it work? Yeah, probably. All right, well, whatever. We'll order another one, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, now you'd just be like, well, I guess we're not getting the job done. Or order another one. Like or you'd call around and try and make a deal or something, but you wouldn't be talking about stealing it.
Yeah.
Like, you just imagine that, like, your coworker's like, hey, man, I was at the other Ford dealership last week. They got like 18 barrels of oil. I tell you, man, I know they leave that one bay slightly open to vent it out. I bet you we could sneak in there and get those oil barrels.
Are you fucking crazy?
Look at him like he was joking. He'd be like, yeah, right. If only. And he's like, no, really. Like, you'd be hard pressed to get anybody in a civilian job to be willing to do anything like that.
Yeah, but honestly, if you were going to get anybody, the military guy's the one to ask.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry. Me and the guy nicknamed Sarge will go get it done. Shit. So anyway, another one here. This was a little different. I was trying to find a way to work it into the civilian world, but it was like whenever you do go like out to the field or on some group company activity, you commonly get assigned like battle buddies and whatnot. Or like you have to be accountable for this person, know where they are, know when they're going to the bathroom, know when they're going to chow. Like, because you're going to be asked, hey, where's that person at?
Yeah.
And you better know or you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, in the Navy, I know that that's a thing in a lot of places. It's a heavily and strict thing if you're like on deployment.
Yeah.
But stateside, typically, that's not a thing.
Yeah. Like I said, it'd be more be like if you're going out into the field for like a week or something, you might get assigned with a battle buddy or something. It's not too common outside of basic training in AIT or deployments, but it's still...
Yeah, in A school, it was a requirement. You had to go out with somebody.
Yeah. But it's still another one of those things, like imagine if you were having a company seminar downtown. They're not going to be like, all right, Lovato and Hart, y'all need to keep tabs on each other the whole weekend. If he goes to the bathroom, you need to make sure you let him know. If you're going out that night, you let him know where you're going. Matter of fact, if you're going out outside the building, y'all need to go together. Like if your company tried to tell you that, you'd just be like, I'm not babysitting Jason all weekend. The fuck are you talking about? No.
You're not paying me for that shit. What the hell?
Like, no, everybody's doing it. We're giving everybody a battle buddy. Like, no.
Like, I don't care. Give everyone a battle buddy but me. The fuck?
It sounds like a volunteer thing, and I'm not volunteering. But again, in the military, if they told you that, you'd just be like, oh, all right, Bob, me, all right, me and you, we're good.
I do have a question about that. Did you ever get like assigned a battle buddy, or did you get to pick?
No, it's always assigned.
See, that's the difference.
I'm talking about a basic training AIT.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of that, it's find a battle buddy.
Yeah. No, in A school, we didn't have battle buddies in boot camp because we didn't go anywhere in boot camp without our division. So we never had that. But
in boot camp, though, it was like if I'm going down to do my laundry, I had to go down with my battle buddy. And I couldn't
see, no, our laundry was in our berthing area. So like we did all of our laundry in the berthing. So we never had to leave.
Well, mine was like 4 rooms, kind of like a Full Metal Jacket, like just big long rooms with bunks and lockers. And then the laundry room was like downstairs. The drill sergeant's main office was downstairs. So if I ever wanted to leave that bay of beds, I had to be with a battle buddy.
Yeah. No, ours was different. We had the big room with all the bunk beds in it and everything like that. But we had a closet with had like all the cleaning supplies. It had like a wash station so you could like wash out a mop bucket and fill a mop bucket. Like the raised little like stone platform with the
Yeah.
fucking drain in it. And then we had another room which had all the washing machines, and then in that room there was a door that opened up into like a room that had like a ventilation system in it, and that was the drying room. So they would go out of the washer and into the drying room for the clothes to dry. And then we also had like the hallway out to the door to the berthing, and then there was another office that we called the fishbowl. It had windows all the way around it. That's where the RDCs would be. That's their office. So it was all located into one room.
Well, yeah. I mean, those doors to the different rooms. But I'm saying, like, in that instance, if I wanted to go into the fishbowl, I couldn't just go into the fishbowl without a battle buddy.
Yeah. No, we never had any of that in boot camp. In A school we did. Like if we wanted to go around base, we didn't have to do that. But if we wanted to leave base and like go to the mall or go shopping or go eat food or get a tattoo, whatever the case may be, we had to go with somebody. And we didn't get assigned to that person. You could just find somebody, and before you left, you'd have to go to like the main office on the base and get like a piece of paper with both of your signatures on it saying we're going off base.
Yeah.
And then they would check that at the gate, and then upon leaving and upon arriving, it's like, hey, where's your chit? So yeah, I mean, I definitely understand the battle buddy thing, but we only ever had to deal with it in A school.
Yeah. I mean, I dealt with it, like I said, when we went out to the field and through deployments and things like that. But in all those cases, it was, like you said, it wasn't assigned. It was just make sure you have a battle buddy. Or, if anything, just make sure you're telling somebody where you're going.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, when outside of A school, like in the normal base, like on the weekends and stuff like that, they always encourage that kind of thing. It's like, hey, it's always a good idea to, let somebody know where you are or take somebody with you. Try not to go out alone if you can help it, type of deal. But, nobody really cared.
on deployments, it was more like, if you're going to leave the tent to go to the bathroom, just tell somebody, hey, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Unless it's the middle of the night, and then you just go. You're not going to, like, wake somebody up. Say you're going to the bathroom. But
hey, Bob, huh? What? I'm going to take a piss. Oh, fuck off. All right.
Let's see. This one was kind of funny because it reminded me. I think I mentioned it on one of our recent streams, but I was telling you about on that trip we took recently that I was explaining to some friends that whenever I feel like everybody should be not bothered by anything.
Yeah.
And if you're bothered by it, then it makes me want to fuck with you with it even
Yeah.
more. And then the more it bothers you, the more I just kind of escalate the situation.
Yeah.
And I just thought, yeah, it's just something I do. And then I saw the TikTok, and I'm like, well, maybe it's not just something I do.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that's exclusive to you.
Because he explains, like, veterans and military members, like, we will make fun of trauma and make fun of handicap situations. And if it bothers them, then we do it even more and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, your buddy lost his foot in combat, and, like, 2 weeks later, after he's fully recovered and everything, you're fully supportive the whole way. But then 2 weeks later, you're like, hey, Stumpy, what the fuck's taking you so long? Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, hey, fuck you, man. I lost a leg. Oh, the baby's crying because he lost his foot. Come on.
It's like, we're going to keep fucking with you until it doesn't bother you anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're welcome.
Yeah. But no, we're always going to fuck with. That's the thing. It never stops. It'll be 20 years from now, you run into the Stumpy. Like, it never stops.
It's funny. There's a YouTuber. He does particular mostly gun content and stuff like that. He's a veteran, and he was hit with an IUD out in the field. Burns upon 90% of his body. He lost a couple of limbs and everything like that. But he he became affectionately known among the community and now calls himself Crispy
Yeah.
because he's got the skin grafts all over him.
Yeah.
He looks crispy. You know. And it's like, it's funny because I'm sure that kind of shit probably bothered him when it first happened. But
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's like he's been bothered about it so much he accepts it and actually he's turned it into a brand. And it's like, that's kind of the purpose of it. It's like, we're going to annoy you about it until it doesn't bother you anymore. And then when it doesn't bother you anymore, then great. We're all happy.
Yeah.
It's, you know?
But it was funny because you also do it with like even trauma or just things that are bothering you. Like, you can be the most supportive during the time in which support is needed or justified. Like, let's say, your wife or girlfriend cheated on you or was a whore while you're on deployment. The first, couple months, you're like, oh, damn, that sucks, man. Don't worry, you'll get through it. And then, like, 6 months later, every girl you're dating from now on, like, oh, I hope she's not a whore like your wife, huh? Like,
Yeah.
like, fuck you, man. That was a fucked up time of my life. Like, well, maybe if you were a better husband,
Yeah, it's like maybe if you didn't marry fucking whores.
Yeah. Like, again,
Seems to be a common denominator here, man. I'm just saying.
it's just crazy. Like, yeah, that's just how we treat each other. And then, like, and if anything, it just builds the bond in some kind of fucked up way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, never really thought about that because you couldn't do that with anybody nowadays. That's your normal office.
Hell no.
Yeah, man.
You get fired on the spot, dude.
Yeah.
HR's going to be knocking on your door within 20 minutes.
Yeah. It got me thinking, like, I do it with Brandon all the time. Just kind of saying, like, if only you were a better husband or a better worker or a better team lead or something. Like, always just razzing him. And I'm like, sitting there thinking, man, do I do that more than he does it to me?
Probably.
I mean, nowadays, we've been friends for so long now, he does do it to me quite a lot. And, it works out. But it is still another interesting to think about, where those things that you can do in the military, but you do it in the civilian world, and unless it's your actual friend, like I couldn't just do it to a coworker.
Yeah.
Where are we at here? Oh, speaking of the budget from earlier, losing an item, like say during one of those inspections, and then having to replace it through the military ordering system for 10 times the price instead of just going to the store or somewhere and buying a replacement.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, your toolbox is missing the hammer. You're like, oh, that's fine. I'll just get on Amazon and order it. Like, no. We have to order it through here, and it's going to be $752. And that's coming out of your next check.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
It's like, again, talking about that budget. It's like, man.
Yeah, it's the same thing too. It's like, all right, I'm missing a BDU top. I can either go to the surplus store and buy one for, $30, or go to the next and buy one for fucking $150.
Yeah.
It's like, shit.
Yeah, back to that boot discussion, huh?
Yeah.
I got oil on my boots. Well, shit. There goes half my paycheck.
Yeah.
And then back to the safety briefings and whatnot was places being blacklisted.
Oh yeah.
And not just because it's unsafe. No, because we're literally not allowed there anymore.
Yeah.
Again, you're never gonna hear that from your civilian job. Look, guys, after last weekend, nobody from the Ford dealership is ever allowed at the Flamingo Club. Sorry to say, if you're caught there, we're going to have to write you up.
I mean, under certain circumstances, no, actually, matter of fact, that's just the military. I mean, it's like, I could kind of understand that, but it's like anybody else, would probably tell you to like fucking kick rocks and get the fuck out of their face.
Yep.
Like me, if somebody said that to my work, I'd be like, okay, all right.
Nah,
I
it's
guess I'll
civilian
find
world.
another place to go.
People would be like, "That's my club. I've been going there for 10 years. I ain't stopping."
I mean, but even still, like, even if that were to happen to me tomorrow, and I'm like, man, I've been going there every weekend for like fucking 4 years. It's like, oh, well, all right, well, just not going there anymore. You know,
I
it's
wouldn't.
just like I'm used to it. It's like,
If my job ever tried to tell me I couldn't go anywhere to a certain place in town, I'd just be like, "Well, I'm going, and good luck stopping me, and good luck giving me a write up for it, because I will laugh and not sign it." But also, I mean, it'd be almost hard pressed to get a place blacklisted from a particular business in the civilian world, whereas in the
that's
military, it's really just anybody, and you can tell who a soldier is, so they can easily be like, no soldiers allowed in here.
true. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's different, right? Like the military treats thing. It's like one soldier represents the entire military. So if one soldier fucks up, it fucks up for the entire military. So at least in the civilian sector, it's like if that one guy went to that fucking club and fucked around and found out, that one guy isn't allowed back.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Usually, that place of business is going to ban those individuals,
yeah,
not anybody that works for the organization.
yeah.
The other one here is another interesting one. I can't really remember. I remember seeing them in various places, but the only place I really remember them being used was in like basic training, was having pull-up bars outside of an office, or like your barracks or command office or headquarters or whatever, and being told like, anytime you come into this office, you have to knock out like 5 pull-ups first.
No, I've never seen that.
So I only really remember being told to do that. I remember seeing pull-up bars in a lot of places, but the only time I've been told we had to use them was in basic training. It was like every time, like before and after chow, you had to do like 5 or 10 pull-ups or something.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, we had pull-up bars in like the training areas and gyms and shit, but outside of that no.
Well, again, though, it just made me wonder, like, could you imagine at like a civilian office having some pull-up bars outside the front door? Like, all right, from now
There's
on,
your ticket inside.
yeah, you're not allowed inside unless you do 5 pull-ups. And like,
I'd quit on the spot.
be like, that's right, you heard me, Granny. Get up there.
Yeah.
Got your 5 pull-ups. Bob, I don't care if you're 450 pounds. You better get your fat ass up there and knock out 5 pull-ups. You're not getting paid today.
Yeah, people would quit on the spot.
Yeah. Even
It's like,
people
oh,
that
you're
were
not
in
paying
shape.
me to do fucking. You're not paying me to do fucking pull-ups every day. So see ya. You know?
Yeah. But again, in the military, if they say, hey, anytime you want to come inside and talk to the first sergeant and the commander, you need to knock out 5 pull-ups. You'd be like, fuck me.
He likes them sweaty and winded.
Yeah. But again, another thing that you would just accept in the military, even you, not having them around. If they installed them outside your motor pool and said every day before you come into the motor pool, you're going to have to do 5 pull-ups from now on. You'd just be like, well, God damn it. All right.
Do I get to ask any questions as to like why? No? Okay, all right.
Yeah, just new company policy. Sorry. Granted, you'd probably try and find a way to sneak in, but nobody's around in here. I'm just going to sneak in. Did you do pull-ups? Yeah, it was hard.
Really? Let me smell your palms. They don't smell like metal.
Let me smell your breath.
Let me smell.
Drink my Mountain Dew. You Mountain Dew drink yourself a bitch. Let me smell your breath.
That is, I don't know. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but after using those fucking pull-up bar, that smell just like sticks in your hands. It's just that rusted fucking steel, you know,
rust and fucking aged skin cells and stuff that are rubbed onto
like
it.
it's got a smell that you just recognize immediately, and it's like, Yeah, let me smell your palms. No,
Yeah.
didn't smell like that. Okay, well, yeah, you didn't do them. Go on.
Same thing with most like, bench press bars and stuff.
Yeah, we just have that smell to them.
Another one here is team building exercises versus quote unquote team building exercises.
Very big difference. Very big difference.
Again, in the military, we're gonna learn how to pull a vehicle with a winch, team building exercise, or we're gonna all go get fucked up drunk tonight and figure out who we really don't like.
Yeah, it's like we're either gonna go on this nice retreat down to the woods and do some fucking obstacle courses for our company team building exercise, or we're gonna go on a 12-mile hike as a group in full gear. Yay!
Yeah.
It's like,
This
man, if you guys are working on morale, you're doing a fucking shit job.
Well, yeah, but also the quote unquote team building, is the more like the whole we're gonna go get drunk or something, or everybody's invited over to the house for a barbecue and it's a kegger.
Yeah.
Like, what'd y'all do last night? Team building exercise.
Yeah.
Why aren't we allowed in this Applebee's anymore? Like, well, last week we did a team building exercise there, and
team was a little too much for Applebee's to handle.
Yeah. But again, you're not going to see that. Not depending on certain professions. Again, at like my office, the cubicle farm, we're not going to all get together and go meet at the bar and get wasted. Or leave our work early for a team building exercise to go to the bar.
Yeah, that was always an excuse to get out early. It's
yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to go do team building over here at Specs.
Yeah. That's the meeting area. That's where we're going to have the briefing. In the Specs parking lot.
Yeah. The actual exercise is going to be at Joe's house.
Yeah. We're gonna meet at Specs.
Don't worry, we'll provide food.
Yeah, we're gonna meet at Specs, have the briefing, then we're gonna convoy to Bob's house.
Practice convoy communication on the way there.
Yeah.
The big boys in the back, small ones in the front.
Another one, as the last one as far as military comparisons, was if you're imagine in the civilian world again, if your subordinate is late and you're expected to go to their house, wake them up, and bring them to work.
Oh my God! Yeah, that would never fly, even to me today. Like if I don't show up to work and you show up at my house, I'm gonna be pissed.
But again, in the military world. Boom, boom, boom. Like, shit. As soon as you wake up to that knocking sound, you're like, fuck.
I fucked up. And in this moment, he knew.
Yep.
He fucked up.
Shit.
Yeah.
Man,
there's nothing you can do in that moment, right? Like, your mind just starts racing on what you could possibly say.
Trying to think of some excuse of why you just made another grown man drive to your house to wake you up for work.
It's like I'm gonna punch myself in the head as hard as I can to give myself a black eye so that I can answer the door looking completely fucked up, so I have some sort of reason as to why he's here.
I'd rather fake a concussion than say I forgot to set my alarm.
Right.
But yeah, again, you'd never, if the civilian world, it would never happen. One, you'd be pissed if somebody knocked at your door, and if your boss tried to tell you to go to your subordinate's house to go wake him up and bring him to work, you'd be like, how about no?
Excuse me? Run that by me one more time?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you're talking to the right person here, but no.
Yeah. Like, I get it, but it's not happening. Anyway, so those topics went on a little longer than I expected, but We can always go off on a rant on military things. But that's the end of the list of like things that would never fly in the civilian world.
Yeah, and the list ended pretty well because that is actually also the time for us to end.
Well, I still have two or three more topics I'd like to hit
Two or
real
three more
quick.
topics. Okay, great.
One, so was it last week we talked about Cocaine Bear?
Yeah,
Yeah. So did you hear that there's Cocaine Shark coming out?
I did not.
Yeah, Cocaine Shark, another drug-fueled animal movie, gets its own
Well,
movie.
I'm calling it now. There's going to be a cocaine cat coming out soon because of that news story we talked about last week.
Yeah. I can't remember what that one did. Didn't it like bite the owner's finger off or something? You said? Or...
No, it like escaped the it had an injury and they took it to the vet and it jumped out the window of their car. And they finally wrangled it, and the vets did some tests on it, cause, to treat its injuries, and there was cocaine in its system.
What's funny is this one's coming out so soon too. It's like this summer.
Oh, it must have been in production. They already knew that they were going to do that.
Or it's just a super B-rated movie.
Yeah, that's also very true. It could be like another Sharknado.
Yeah, it pretty much looks like it. Like it almost looks like
a Bollywood film.
Well, yeah, basically. Like it looks like made in somebody's garage.
Oh, yeah.
But still the image though was pretty funny. I was trying to see if I could pull it up. Yeah, I could just move this over here. Yeah, that's the poster.
Oh, I was just about to look it up, but you got it pulled up here.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me wait for the stream to refresh here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like, oh, all right. But yeah, I mean, immediately, that was the first thing I thought of too, was Sharknado. When I saw that poster, I'm like, did y'all just really turn Sharknado into Cocaine Shark? Like,
yeah, right. That's
like,
almost exactly what it looks like.
I think y'all are trying too hard.
Or not trying hard enough, one of the two.
Yeah. The other one.
Yeah, I'd love to see the budget for that movie.
Oh, I wouldn't, because it would still make me mad. Motherfucker's still probably making, my 5-year fucking salary for one trash movie. The other one was recapping on, I think it was Adam that told us that Silent Hill was based on the real place, the coal burning underground place.
Oh, yeah.
I did a little bit of research on that one. It was pretty interesting. Just a little couple facts to recap on that one. It's called Centralia, and it's still burning to this day. And there's enough coal estimated to be able to burn for another 250 years. But as far as the legal stuff was, it started in like the 60s. And they slowly, some people just left, and then they didn't do forced evacuations until like the 80s. But then some people still stayed. The state took ownership of the area. I forget what that's called when they take ownership of something. There's a term for that. And effectively made all the people that were still staying there essentially illegal squatters, but nobody was going in there to kick them out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a remaining 15 people. I want to say it was in the early 2000s that they came with an agreement with those remaining 15 people that said, all right, we're going to allow you to live here until you die, and then we're going to bulldoze everything over. So that's the current agreement the state has with the remaining residents. And to this day, there's only about 5 people still living there. One of them was actually the mayor who just died recently at age 93. He was the mayor of Centralia.
Interesting. Oh, yeah,
Just
I'm looking
refused
up
to
the
leave.
page of it right now. That's really crazy.
Yeah, it was just interesting. And but apparently, I still kind of question. I wish I could find more of the scientific stuff behind it. Because the question somebody had asked in the chat was, like how is it still burning? Like because you need air and whatnot. And granted, it's a bunch of mining tunnels under there. It's mining shafts.
Yeah.
It's not just a big chunk of coal. So it does have airflow and there's vents, like cracks and fissures and stuff providing air in and out. But it's still interesting. You think about it. Like I look at it from my basic comparison of like cooking coal for a barbecue.
Yeah.
Like that coal's only gonna last a couple hours. The fact that you have coal for 250 years that's burning nonstop is fascinating to me.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. It's funny though, like looking on the wiki page under public services, it states the borough is serviced by a small group of volunteer firefighters operating one fire engine that is more than 30 years old.
Wonder what they're doing. I mean, there's nothing to control at
The
this point.
Centralia Municipal Building still stands, along with its attached fire station garage. By the early 2010s, the building had fallen into disrepair, but new siding was installed in 2012. The building hosts the annual Centralia Cleanup Day when volunteers collect illegally dumped trash in the area, although past cleanup days avoided fire impacted areas. The 2018 cleanup included areas around the landfill and the abandoned section of the PA Route 61, since named Graffiti Highway.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. It was pretty interesting. Like the
Yeah,
entire, like multi-mile long road is
yeah.
covered in graffiti.
In April of 2021, volunteers planted 250 apple trees around Centralia to restore the town's ecosystem and wildlife habitats.
Hmm.
The
Yeah, I
town's
was.
Ukrainian Catholic Church, the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, remains in use and attracts worshippers from surrounding towns, including people who were once residents of the town. The geological survey found that there was solid rock, not coal, under the church, so it is not in danger of collapse due to the fire.
Yeah, I was just mostly looking at the history.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, man. That I'm
Yeah,
looking at like pictures of it, and like that's fucking it's wild.
yeah. Interesting how it was sort of interesting how it started. They basically like created their own landfill, and then they were going to have like a Memorial Day celebration in town, and didn't want the giant landfill there. So the solution was to burn the landfill down. And when they did that, they didn't realize there was like a crack going down into the coal mines. And so like they burned all the trash and then had firefighters there. Or they surrounded the landfill in like an anti-burning solution so that it wouldn't spread anywhere.
Hmm.
They burned it all down and then they hosed it all down, made sure it was completely out. And then like the next day or so, they saw smoke coming again and they went and put it out again. And then they even took like bulldozers and they were kind of like pushing it around, like mixing it with sand and dirt and stuff, trying to like make sure it's out. And then like the next day it was like still burning again. And then that's when they found there was actually like a fissure underneath the landfill that the trash had
Yeah,
like fallen into the mines. Like, and
yeah,
that's what started it all. So all it was like they're just trying to burn their trash and literally fucked up the entire town for the rest of time.
yeah. That just leads the question: is like how long is it gonna burn until it finally stops?
Well, so it said it's estimated to be able to burn for 250 more years.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, like fuck, our great great grandkids might be able to see that thing, be in the news one day, but like, town finally stops burning. Now it's just a giant hole in the ground.
In 2011, the city council, reported that the town's highest bill came from the PPO Corporation, which was a power utility, for $92 for the entire town's power utility.
Yeah, I mean, you got 5 elderly people living there. I mean,
Actually, as of the 2020 census, there were 5 people residing in the borough. Racial makeup of the borough was 80% white, 20% Asian, and one resident was under the age of 18.
interesting. So
So in 2020, there was somebody under 18 living there.
I wonder if he counts as one of the people that's allowed to live there till they die, though.
That's a good question. I mean, if I were that young, why would you stay in a place like that?
Just for the fucking weird fame you would get from it, I guess, or popularity.
I mean, but realistically, like, would anybody really care? Like, if he were to like show up in Houston, would somebody be walking by and was like, "Hey, you're that guy that lives in Centralia, right?" Like,
Well, no, but I mean, you think about the people that like own the biggest ball of yarn or something, you know, or something retarded.
well, yeah, maybe,
or,
I guess.
I mean, just people want their claim to fame, you know?
He could put a big sign in front of his house that says "Last remaining resident of Centralia," and people can fucking take pictures of it as they drive through or whatever, you know. But I guess, but still, that doesn't sound like much of a fucking life.
Yeah, but you know, some people are like that though. They'll cling on to their one moment of fame. Like,
yeah.
So the last thing I wanted to talk about was just kind of funny because I've seen a lot of these TikToks over the years and videos of the new slap fighting, which I'm sure you've probably seen.
Yeah, that shit is so
and like
idiotic.
When I first saw them on TikTok, like I would watch them, you know, a couple of them. I'm not like, you know, searching for them and watching them over and over. But if it popped up on the feed, I'd be like, oh, look at these fucking idiots. Let me watch this.
Yeah.
Like, all right. And I'm like, damn, it's fucking crazy. Like, y'all are crazy. And then, like, as I keep getting more and more up there, and then I realize there's actually, like, leagues for it and shit.
Oh, yeah, dude. They take that shit real serious, man.
Yeah. So the title of this article is slap fighting the next big thing or just unsporting stupidity?
It's unsporting stupidity.
Well, I bring that up because as I think about it and think of like some of the videos I've watched, like now I just skip them as soon as I see them pop up. I'm like, I don't get tired of this stupid shit, and I just move on. But then as I saw the article today, it reminded me of the movie Idiocracy with that show called Ouch My Balls.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like the more I think about it over the years and I keep thinking about that movie and I'm like, man, like, are we really slowly working our way towards that fucking movie? Like,
I think
and when you think about the slap boxing league, or not boxing, but slap fighting leagues and stuff, and it's like, man, this is just one step away from ouch my balls.
Yeah.
Like, man, like y'all are just fucking crazy. Like, this is your competitive sport. Who can take a hit the best?
Yeah, who could get slapped in the fucking face and not get knocked out before the other person?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess in a small sense, you could kind of look at boxing like that too. It's who can take a hit more. But
yeah,
the point there is to try to not get hit.
Exactly. Not sit there and stare at somebody in the face while they smack you upside the head as hard as they can.
Yeah. Like, it just seems silly. And the fact that it's gaining popularity to a seriousness is...
Think about this, right? There are actual leagues, and these are televised events. There are world championship tag matches. Tag. Like, like tag, you're it.
That's fine. I would rather have that, because that's just having fun.
What a national fucking an international fucking sport with a competition and a championship.
I mean, why not?
Okay, great. To your point, then why not slap fighting championship? Why not? If those idiots want to fucking do that dumb shit, then so be it. If they fucking get concussions and they fucking die because of brain aneurysms and tumors and shit in their head, good. Darwin's law is working.
I'm saying at least tag feels like a sport. I mean,
listen,
I'm
of the opinion if you want to go off and do that shit, so be it. Darwin will do his work the best way he knows how.
Or we're just going to slowly slip into the actual movie Idiocracy.
In which case, what are you going to do about it?
Cry in my sleep. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you going to do about it? There's nothing you can do.
I mean, I can not support slap fighting.
Well, yeah, sure, but do you think people are going
Again,
to stop because Jay Hart doesn't support
well,
slap
they
fighting?
better. You know, you know
They
who I
know who
am.
I am.
But yeah, it was just that was the last one. I saw that. I was like, is this turning into a real sport? I'm just like, God, I hope not. Like,
Yeah,
Jesus.
it already is, unfortunately.
I mean, again, I look at things like, oh, hey, we missed Garrett's messages. Eventually, population of one, that person. Oh, yeah, for the city. Yeah, and the slow mo videos, they're funny. And the Russian butt slapping, I think I did say that, but I didn't look up like an article on it. But yeah, I would. That's true too. The last thing Gert said, like, I could see myself participating in tag, but I'm not gonna stay in there and get the shit slapped out of me.
Fair.
Yeah, and the same thing could tie into like, you know, the
I mean, to be totally honest with you, I probably wouldn't be very good at either one of those things.
well, like, I mean, you look at like wrestling too, though. I mean, it's like, well, that seems silly, you know, but it's to me, wrestling is the same as tag. They're both still athletic sports that take a lot of skill. It takes a lot more skill than taking a hit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, I look at tag like soccer without the ball.
Yeah, I mean the setups are pretty intricate for it. I've seen like clips of a couple of matches like come across my TikTok, and there's like platforms and bars, like there's obstacles and shit.
No,
So
we'll
like
see.
you're running through these like obstacles and like squeezing through these like tight areas, like doing essentially just parkour and free running, trying to get away from this other person, and it can sometimes be pretty entertaining.
We'll see. Now that actually sounds way more interesting and entertaining than slap fighting.
As a viewer, though, I think it's kind of entertaining to see a dude get his fucking shit rocked.
Man, looking at some of these courses, though, that just looks like injuries waiting to fucking happen trying to dodge somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, the tag. Yeah, they're fucking intricate, man.
Whew. Yeah, looking at this one here, I wonder if I could pull it up on like a full screen. Like sprinting around trying to not get tagged on that, man. You're like one slip away from cracking your damn head open.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and you should look it up. Some of the fucking. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But still, that seems more entertaining and more sporty and more competition worthy than who can get slapped the hardest.
Yeah.
I mean, I still stand my ground of slap fighting is one step away from ouch my balls. Tag championship just seems like a creative way of inventing a new actual sport.
I hate to break it to you, but I firmly believe that there will be, at one point, an ouch my balls.
Oh, there probably will be.
It's gonna happen.
We're right there.
Yeah.
It's going to move from hand slap to swift kick.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, think about it. There are already buskers that go around Vegas that will let you pay them $5 to kick them in the balls as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah.
That's a thing. You can go to Vegas and there's somebody on the corner somewhere in Vegas doing that right now.
Which is insane from both sides of the table.
Yeah.
Like, who pays for that? Yeah. And who accepts money for that? Like, right. I don't understand either one of you at this point.
Yeah. I know who pays for it. Macho guys is like, oh, this guy hasn't folded all day. I'm going to make him fold. Watch this, babe. Just fucking kicks him in the balls and he just like stares at you and laughs. And then you feel like a fucking idiot because that's exactly what happens.
Wall ball or chicken? I don't think I understand your message, Garrett.
Oh, you never played wall ball as a kid?
No, but it sounds like you're saying those two go together. I played wall ball and I played chicken. And then you said get beamed with a ball and you can't move.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like a wall ball, right? Like if you got out, you got to stand up against the wall. Somebody threw a tennis ball at you. You couldn't move. If If you got hit, you're out. If they miss, then you can stay
Volleyball
in.
is when you're using like a tennis racket with a tennis ball against a wall, or just,
Yeah,
or like a, what's that called at the gym? They actually have those rooms where you throw the ball.
racquetball.
Yeah, racquetball.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
more like
And then
wall ball is.
chicken is like traditional dodgeball, where everybody lines up in a line and one person throws the ball and you try and dodge it.
Let's see, the chicken for me was always in the water, having somebody on your shoulders.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. I fucking loved wall ball. That was my favorite thing to play in school. Everybody always had a tennis ball on
Never even heard of that.
them.
Again, that's a 10-year age difference, I guess.
We would tactically acquire tennis balls from the tennis coach.
Before you even knew it was tactical.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, that was my last talking point.
Well, that
So,
was a good one.
yeah, you wanna close us out for the night?
Sure can. Sure can. Appreciate everybody for watching. This was Two Veterans, Two Brothers, Two Views, an open discussion stream. If you liked the topics, make sure you give us a follow here on Twitch if you're not already. Use your Twitch Prime to give us a free sub if you'd like. Use your Bezos bucks on us. Be appreciated.
Those bucks. That took me a second. I was like, what the hell is a Bezo buck? Like, oh, wait.
Yeah. Free Twitch Prime description. If you're looking for any kind of 3D prints or anything like that, we've got an FDM printer. We also recently acquired a resin printer. The goat showing off our little companion cube, which is one of our first successful prints here.
I wish I would have brought some of the better ones. I left them at work. I got the Frostmourne and Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, so if you need 3D prints, let us know. We'll do those for small donations. If you're a veteran and you'd like a free 3D print, let us know. We can hook you up with that as well. Anything you can find on Thingiverse, we can print.
And we mail it right to your door.
Mail it right to your door. That's right. If you have topics of discussion that you'd like to hear us talk about or touch on during the streams every Thursday, make sure you fill out the form that we have, and
that I will link in chat here.
That will be linked in chat right here. Fill out that form, suggest a topic. You can also leave a comment on our YouTube channel. We'll read those as well, and we'll talk about it on the next stream.
So there's our form. Fill it out.
Yep.
We'll talk about anything.
Yep.
As long as it's not racist or something, but
Yeah. Try to keep politics and religion and race out of it, but
well,
otherwise.
I mean, we'll talk politics and religion, but it's going to be our views on it. So
Yeah. It'll come with a heavy disclaimer.
yeah. If you want my uneducated opinion on politics, by all means, I'll share it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If you want a professional opinion, you might want to ask somebody else.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next week.